Yeah, I haven't seen
Well,
the article, so if
hold on. Welcome everyone to the Real Whovians Cast, episode 332. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and that's Phil. What's up, Phil? All right. What's up, Brian?
Hello, how you doing?
What's up, Chris?
Hey, what's going on?
hello, since
What's
I
up,
was
Mike D?
away.
What's up, Phil? What's up, Mike D?
Hello.
What's up, Tim?
What up?
All right. So, I know it's been a while, guys. Sorry about that. I had sunburn on the weekend. Had a great weekend, graduation, all the stuff. But we're back with the podcast. We got some great Doctor Who news. I'm going to do this article from Doctor Who TV UK that basically said that Monday's shoot was taken at the National Museum of Cardiff, a location last used in The Day of the Doctor. The production crew were later snapped moving, intriguing memorial props. The inscription reads, "Rest in peace, we promise." Rest in peace, we promise, alongside what looks like Gallifreyan. Another prop features an inscription that is harder to decipher, but best guesses in the comments. Okay, so you want to share the pictures? Mikey?
Yeah, I'm clicking over actually. Give
Yeah,
me
and I was going to
quick
ask
second.
if you could kind of put me at the end of the rotation, because I'll be seeing this for the first time, and that way I can look at it and have something worth saying.
Gotcha.
Well, I can tell you I saw that this morning. I just thought it was a load of cobblers, whatever that means. I mean, I just don't think much of it. It's a couple of pictures that they took on the set, and you know what? That's what Doctor Who fans do nowadays, just speculate to death everything they've seen. And then half the time they're disappointed when it didn't add up to what they thought it was going to be.
No
So,
more.
You know, Tim, I don't know where you're getting that. By the way, did you know that the Ronnie's coming back?
no,
Yes.
I didn't. And I don't really care. I mean, I'll wait and see it when it happens, you know?
That went right over your head, dude. I was.
Our Ronnie's coming back. I know that. Our Ronnie's coming back very, very soon. I'm just talking to her right now, actually.
The doctor. That's a new.
Yeah, not the Ronnie, but our Ronnie from the Real Whovians Cast. I was just talking to her a little while ago, so she'll be back soon. But the Ronnie from Doctor Who confirmed it. Okay, we'll get to him last. So.
No, he was joking. He said it was a joke.
Oh,
She's
okay.
not coming back. In fact, the actress that played her just died. So I
know.
mean, unless until they recast, and plus that character's owned by that couple that refuses to have anything to do with Doctor Who since they got yelled at by screaming '80s Doctor Who fans.
Right.
Is that
And,
was that Pip and Jane Baker? Those
Yeah.
two people? Okay,
I
yeah.
doubt they're ever going to have anything to do with Doctor Who again.
Right.
Unless the money's really good. Which
Yeah.
if you want the Ronnie back, BBC, throw them a few bucks
There you
or
go.
a few pounds.
So Brian,
Yes,
how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Are you ready for Doctor Who to return or what?
Yes.
You all pumped?
Yeah.
Did you whip out your scarf?
No.
You don't even know what I'm talking about. That's a sad thing. All right. So Chris, yeah, I mean, I guess they're filming the finale now. We have no idea what it's going to be, but rumor has it, of course, that it's going to lead into Series 9, which has to do with Gallifrey, I'm sure.
You got Christmas in between, right?
You got Christmas too, yeah. Christmas is standing alone, though, I think.
Probably.
But,
They usually are.
I
Yeah.
can tell you one thing that I've kind of thought the last couple of days is that I'm pretty sure it's going to come back on the 23rd of August, which is the second to last Saturday, because BBC America is premiering another new show that night. And usually they like to have a new show piggyback on Doctor Who, like they did with Orphan Black last year. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be the second to last Saturday instead of the last Saturday of August.
Right.
I could be totally wrong, but it makes sense to me.
What show are they debuting?
It's called Intruders. It's got John Cena.
Oh, yeah, I saw the trailer
I've
for that.
seen that too, yeah.
I like that.
Well, there's a trailer up for that now, and that premieres on the 23rd. And I can't imagine they'd premiere one show that's going to piggyback off Doctor Who the following week. So I'm guessing Doctor Who will be back on the 23rd.
Did you guys cover the story about there being a sequel to the Five Doctors reboot?
No, but we will now. Because I heard that Peter Davison was filming at a convention, that he was going to meet the new guy.
Yeah, I've got the art.
Again, that was
I've got-
again talking something.
Yeah, I got the article up. It says Paul McGann's reported a sequel to last year's anniversary special has entered production. And,
I think that's true.
Yeah.
What is that, Bubbles?
Yeah, what is that? I was always wondering
I
what.
know what it is. I'm sorry, I forgot to mute something that I have in the background.
Okay.
Tiny bubbles.
All right. You know what? Besides the finale, which we really don't know too much about yet, me and Mike D were talking, off air about this whole. We just got started talking about the Master and his life cycle and his regenerations, and then I'm saying to myself, time of the Doctor. Matt, the 11th Doctor's talking. He's like, regeneration 13. We're breaking some serious ground here, boys. That's not the first time that someone got a new life cycle of regenerations. And if you really are technical about it, they gave the Master a brand new cycle of regenerations, but before they did that, he already found a way to extend his lifespan without regeneration energy. You harnessing the power of was a Trocken, right? That he was able to.
That assassin, he gets a lot of power from the whole Rassilon's rod or whatever thingy.
Right, he's able to survive.
And whenever he leaves that episode, it looks like he's starting to change. Although when he shows up in the Keeper of Trocken, he's still the same emaciated person who takes over somebody else's body, which is
right. And besides that, he had possessed he was an EMT, the medical guy that was played by Eric Roberts, and he just basically
takes over his body. Yeah.
The important thing is that there will always be a Gallifreyan artifact called the plot device.
Yes, but besides that, there was another. Well, I'm going to say that Professor Yana was or I don't know if there was one before him. He got a whole new cycle of regenerations. Who? Well, before Professor Yana, before he became Professor Yana, they had brought him back. The Time Lords had brought the Master back to be their main person against the Daleks for the Time War, and he ran away.
Well, the thing is, the Master isn't linear, just like the Doctor isn't linear. So, I mean, if they do bring back a Master, it could be any Master that was before any of the ones or in between.
What I'm talking about is, what I'm trying to bring the point is that the 11th Doctor was not the first Time Lord to receive a new cycle of regenerations. The Master was. And before
when was that?
Oh, here's the thing.
Because Utopia, and the Sound of Drops of Time Lords, he said that they gave him a new cycle of regenerations.
Well, Joe, consider something else, though. If you go back far enough in the Five Doctors, they talk
Yes, I was just talking to Mike D about that too. Yeah.
But they talk about it like it's something that kind of happens now and then. So I would say that the Master was the first. He's just the first on-screen character.
Well, let's not forget that the Master was exposed to the blue flame in Planet of Fire also. That was supposed to have some sort of regenerative component to it, right? Or empowerment of some sort. Yeah.
Well, probably because he supposedly died in that one, and then he came back later. My point was that we've seen like maybe 3 or 4 Masters throughout the whole 50 years, and there could be 8 or 9 other ones in there that we don't know.
That's why that was my theory that we're going to see him out of order.
Well,
of course, we have been, probably.
We're seeing them from the Doctor's viewpoint as a viewer, kind of like looking into the Doctor's world, too. So, I mean, like, the Masters are happening all out of order.
Could be.
Because we're not following the Master, we're following the Doctor. So it's like, we're experiencing the Master kind of in a linear fashion as far as being the viewer. But, I mean, it might, in fact...
At least in the old series, we don't know from the new series where Yana fits in or where the Sim one comes from. I mean, we saw that happen. We don't know if that couldn't have been earlier in the career of the Master.
That wasn't earlier in the career. It wasn't. It was the end of his career.
No, they said it. The only Master we saw was the decrepit one that turned into Anthony Ainley. We saw that.
For all we... There may be a delay on this, but I was going to say, for all we know, as far as, like, I mean, we could meet the Master in his, like, earliest incarnation, like in this.
That's my point.
Pre-Delgado and all that.
And especially with Stephen Moffat, because he always likes to do everything like that. I mean, so we don't know exactly which Master we might meet, if we even comes back. I mean, we don't even know.
That's now, but it was definite that he was a little boy found with the fob watch, and that Master was... like the current Master, the David Tennant, they're on the same timeline. Like, in other words, like, it was said before that they wouldn't meet out of order. But then Moffat changed it when he took over. Like, in other
we
words,
didn't know that.
because David Tennant said that he couldn't
Moffat
go
hasn't had the
backwards in
master
time.
yet. How can he say he changed that? He hasn't had the master yet.
Because the masters that we've seen, we have Robert Delgado.
The only masters
then
we've
we
seen have
saw-
not been with Stephen Moffat yet, so don't even go there yet.
No, I'm not. But we had Robert Delgado. Then we had
Roger.
I'm sorry, Roger Delgado. Then we had from Deadly Assassin. Was it two actors?
Peter
that
Pratt
played-
first, and then
Jeffrey Beavers.
which is the same master technically. And then we had Anthony Anley, and then we had somebody that was just, we don't know who played the master that was killed in Gallifrey. We're assuming was Anthony Anley's master, but he died, so he couldn't film that part.
that's what I'm saying. We don't know exactly because the old series versus the new series, you don't know where Yana fits in actually, do you?
Yana's after. It's Time War. There was no Time War in this classic series.
Okay, then. Well, there you go, then.
That's definite.
I'll agree with you.
That's
then.
completely
My
definite.
point was that we see the Master on a one timeline thing in the old series, but if they bring the Master back now, there's so many different gaps in his timeline where it could be a totally different Master.
Well,
Somebody between Delgado and
well, that's what I'm saying. I had suggested my theory that we would see all the previous Masters in Series 8, and it would show basic. I said this before on the Real Whovians cast. It would show why he hates the Doctor so much. That maybe the 8th Doctor, I'm sorry, not the 8th Doctor, the 12th Doctor is responsible for him losing all the regenerations up until Delgado. And then what they would do, and this was my theory if you remember, and then what they would do is that after they showed I don't know how many Masters this season, they would have Johnson back, and Johnson would be really pissed off that
Johnson won't be back. No, he's in that other show.
Eventually, though, I'm sure.
No, he's in that other program, the one that I was just telling you about, Intruders. See, that's it. That's his new show.
I know, but I have a feeling he'll be back though.
Well, may I just point out that in the TV movie with Paul McGann, Eric Roberts' master, I get, like, towards the end of the movie, like, where they're in the room, like, with the Eye of Harmony and everything, and they're having a whole battle, scene and everything between the Master and the Doctor. Eric Roberts' master says to the Doctor, "My life is wasted because of you."
Yeah, he wasted all his regenerations, possibly.
Well, I can ask the Master when I see him in person, because apparently Eric Roberts is going to be at a convention in a couple of months down here in Pensacola, so I'll get his take on it.
Cool.
But if I can go back further, like you and I were talking about, Mike, about the 5 Doctors, which was funny. Phil brought up the Rassilon finished all his regenerations, and they just basically hooked up his body into an interface so they could talk to him where it appeared to be that he was a ghost, but he wasn't really. Because his body was failed, but his mind wasn't. And I'm sure that the Time Lords had conferred with the classic people of the council in case emergencies arose, where they just had him hooked up to stuff like that. But when the Time War struck, they basically gave Rassilon a new cycle of generations too, because he's Timothy Dalton. And
hold on that, actually, if you remember back in the 5 Doctors, they said that Rassilon alone had perpetual regeneration. They didn't give him anything. They just opened the tomb and said, "Here you go, man."
Well,
also, in other words, he could regenerate unlimited, you mean?
He has unlimited regeneration.
I see.
And Rassilon, when he was saying 1 billion years of Time Lord history, he was there for the whole thing.
I see.
He's a very scary character if they ever play him to his potential.
Well, it's been really clear also too that, especially in the audios too, that the Time Lords' 12 regenerations will last them a lot longer than either the Doctor or the Master, because they don't time travel. The Doctor and the Master go partying on throughout the universe, doing all this stuff, which gets them into trouble, which leads to regenerations. Which whereas the Time Lords on Gallifrey just sit there and don't do much, so they could last for nearly forever. So.
Phil, was Rassilon really around for a
Hello,
billion
Jimmy.
years?
Hello.
I don't think you. Hey, Jimmy.
Hello.
Was Rassilon really around for a million years? I don't think so. I mean, he was around for a long time.
He
I don't think Rassilon was around.
That was my point. They don't bounce around the universe like the Doctor or the Master. I mean, they just still on Gallifrey, so they can last a lot longer. I mean, I was listening to audio today where Susan was telling the 8th Doctor, "Hey, how are you at 8 already? I mean, it shouldn't be that quick."
There is that, Tim, and I'm not disagreeing with the whole lifespan thing, but they did specifically say that Rassilon had unlimited regenerations, so that wouldn't even matter for him anyway.
It's really up to them, isn't it? They proved that at Christmas. I mean, because the Time Lords can just say, hey, by the way, oh, here you go, here's 12 more. Yep. So there you go.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
They probably tap a vein on him or something.
And you can take that back to, the 2nd Doctor saying, well, I can live for indefinitely, barring accidents, so...
Right.
So.
Mm-hmm.
And
Or he could revisit faces.
Well, I didn't. One thing I didn't get was, if the Doctor was at the end of his life cycle, how did the whole live a song given her regenerations to him thing work?
She didn't give them to him.
She gave him regeneration. She used regeneration energy to heal him.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I thought that the Doctor said
She wasted regenerations, yes, but that didn't mean that she gave them to him.
Yeah,
Later on, he gave her some, and then she slapped him for it. She told him, "Hey, quit it."
And technically, nobody brought up when David Tennant, the 10th Doctor, stuck his hand in that thing, and they created the Doctor's daughter. Technically, she had some of his little regeneration energy too that she came back to life. I mean, I don't know if she had her own. I mean, where would she get her own? Wouldn't they have to give it to her?
The way that they talk about it on the show now, they make it seem like they're born, that's just an innate thing of Gallifreyans from living on their world so long exposed to the schism. So I'd think that, no, she'd have them.
So in other words, she probably regenerated when she went into that ship.
Well, she came back to life.
No, at the end, she didn't regenerate. That was the energy from the thing. But they could easily use her being Gallifreyan genetically to say, guess what? She can regenerate. Here's a new actress.
Right, exactly.
And that was the whole point of River, too, that she was born in the TARDIS. That's why she has that kind of ability. Whereas, if she had been born outside the TARDIS, she wouldn't. She'd just be a normal baby.
Right. What's up, Daniel?
Hi.
What's up, nerd?
It's the thunder from down under.
Oh my God.
There it is.
What's going on?
Just talking about regeneration energy and the Doctor's daughter and the Master and that.
What's up? I'm walking around eating.
Hey,
How many KFC?
nothing use this one's.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Very nice.
Well, that's good, man.
I was tempted to buy that today, but I passed it up.
So you're a long way from
strong
Kentucky.
temptation.
I love KFC food.
Right.
KFC podcast.
Yeah.
But didn't Tennant waste a regeneration?
Yeah.
Like the Mega Christ Doctor or something?
Possibly, yeah. It also could have just been a throwaway line, too.
That's true. So what's up, Mo?
Yeah.
Okay,
How you doing, bro?
doing all right. It's thunder and lightning here today, right now.
Daniel, how you doing, bro?
It's the second thunder and lightning storm of the day.
What is it?
Somebody got the radio on or the TV on? I keep hearing something in the background.
Yeah, me too.
I hear it too, and I have headphones on.
That's probably Sammy Carter.
Is it?
He's not even in the room, is he?
No.
Nah, he's angry.
Why is he angry?
Yeah.
He made a hate video. He made a hate video on me this morning.
No,
he did.
that was me. The news is on in the background.
Yeah, he made a whole video about living the dream stories and everything. I saw that.
Really?
Yeah, apparently I don't put in any effort, and he was going off his nut.
Oh my God, we don't even know Whovian battles, so to speak.
But regeneration, let's face it, kiddies. Say what you want. 12th Doctor. This is the 12th Doctor, so...
Well, technically it's 13, but...
But, nah, screw the War Doctor. I don't count.
technically the new Doctor is 1.
Yeah.
It's a whole
That's
new
true.
set of regenerations. He's Doctor 1.
The
He's
first,
one-
second
he's
Doctor.
1A.
First, second Doctor.
Or
Yeah.
if you go with the idea of there being 12 regenerations, he'd technically be 2, so there can't be a second 1. So number 1
Yeah.
was regeneration.
Mm.
So if someone wants,
Generation
someone
1A
wants to get technical on them, you
Or
can
B.
throw that at them, and then
or B.
it's over.
Yeah. But it's just fun to speculate with that whole regeneration.
I mean, screw it, who cares? As long as they can keep the show on, they'll have an excuse for
That's the point.
I'm
Yeah.
going to regenerate 50 times. Who cares?
Because I mean, I've seen where people were actually saying they hoped the show would end because, in other words, they didn't want them to fix the regeneration limit problem. And I'm like, how stupid are you? I mean,
Yeah, that's
you'd rather the show end than they come up with some cool way of fixing it, which they did. I mean, yeah, they didn't have to do it just now. They could have, let it go for another one. But
Yeah, that's
the
as bad as
no.
that's as bad as Daniel's theory that in X-Men: Days of Future Past, all the mutants should have just died.
Oh, come on now.
In,
That's not nice.
in the 5 Doctors, the Time Lords offered the Master a whole set of new regenerations.
Yes.
So they had the ability for years.
Yeah, there's always a way out. I mean,
Didn't they offer to him in trial this time?
you got a show that's been accidentally carrying on for 50+ years, then you know what? It's not going to end because of some stupid rule that somebody came up with in 1976.
Yep.
Really.
Yeah, they're not going to be stonewalled by something like a line in the show. They're always going to be like, "Hey, guess what? That was wrong.
Yeah,
We got
I mean,
this
like,
idea now."
Oh, did Bob Holmes write that?
The
never mind.
reason
Sorry, fans.
they have regeneration was so the show could continue.
Exactly. And even that was an accident. I mean, who knew? I mean, it was just
Yeah.
like, oh, by the way, let's try this and see if it works.
Yeah, it was all because of William Hartnell's
Is that
disease.
your feet, Brian? Are you playing your toes on the air?
Live! Live! On the air, Brian!
For the first time on the Real Whovians cast, we got to see somebody's toes.
Sorry,
I-
Joe. I didn't mean to put it on camera.
I knew this was a special cast. All right. Brian's toes. Brian's toes.
I didn't,
I'd be curious to see what went on between Anthony Ainley's version of the Master and Eric Roberts. Like what went on between there. They could fit a Master in there somewhere, like the Forgotten Master.
I mean, who's to say that the one that got executed was the same master or not? Could be
We
different.
could easily fit several in between Delgado and the one that followed him up. I mean, it doesn't have to be,
Yeah.
there could have been several on there.
Or we could have a Master before Delgado. That would be classic.
True.
Yeah.
well, I didn't like Anthony's master at all.
Oh, that would be cool because you could have the one that predates Delgado, and you could use some of that like CGI trickery and have him regenerate into Delgado, and
True.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Well, then they CGI in William Hartnell at one point, so they could do that.
What do you have to say, David?
Yes, they could do that. That'd be
Maybe
cool.
go to some hidden masters like we did the War Doctor. Maybe we could.
Yeah.
with Capaldi's favorite Doctor being Pertwee, the one like his Doctor grew up with, I would say that it's a pretty safe guarantee that the Master is going to be involved during his era at some point because those are his memories, and
Yeah.
It's been like 4 years. It's been like almost 5 years since the Master or something. So.
Sure. Save that.
I
It'll be
don't
classic.
care as long I don't give a crap as long as they bring Bessie back.
Yeah, me too. I agree.
The 7th Doctor, there was an episode with him and Bessie.
Battlefield,
That's right.
Battlefield.
Yeah.
You gotta have the Doctor and the new Master and like some fencing maybe interplay between the two. And reversing the polarity of the neutron flow, that would be a nice little tip of the hat to the classic series fans.
True.
Well, I was thinking about this before. I actually don't think that they would do a Master in between, like, from the classic series, because what I was thinking about is they've got so many new viewers to this show, and if they start bringing up stuff from the classic series, people are going to say, like, the newer viewers are going to say, I didn't see that, so I don't know what's going on.
But
they could play it off.
they could do it like they did Tom Baker as the curator, where it's a tip of the hat to like the old series fans who would recognize what the inside joke is.
Or they could have Clara encounter him and he can introduce himself to her.
But what I'm saying is, though, if they're going to use him as a main villain in the season or in a few episodes or whatnot, I actually think it's going to be what the viewers would perceive as this is the Master after all of this, after all of what he's done in the past. Because let's think about this. Moffat has been, I don't want to say afraid, but he hasn't wanted to tackle the Master as a character during his time on the show. If he's going to do it now, I think he's going to do it his own way. It's going to be like the Master Moffat's version.
Yeah,
but his version's not going to be equal footing to Capaldi's.
And that's what I mean. I think that if we go into the, no, I'm not just saying us. I'm saying anyone who's seen the classic series and knows about the Master. If you go into it with this idea that this Master is going to be like this, and then he's going to be something totally different, it's kind of going to be disappointing. And we're going to say, well, I thought he was going to be like this. That's why I think he's going to be a totally different, not different character. He's going to be the Master, but he's going to be a different version that Moffat makes for the show.
Isn't that what always happens, though, nowadays? People speculate too much, and then they're disappointed with what they actually get, which is why all those movie posters last year weren't a good idea, because everybody thought, it's going to be like that, and then when they got what they got, they didn't like it. So,
yeah, it was pretty crap.
You know,
a little too much selling the sizzle rather than the steak, huh?
Well, I mean, me personally, I don't have a problem with the last season. I thought it was brilliant. But, I mean, a lot of people got all hyped up about stuff, and then they didn't like what they got because they thought they were getting something else. But as far as the Master coming back, first of all, we don't even know that's going to happen this season. And I was absent when Chris was making his first point, so I'm not sure what he was saying. But I'm guessing that if they do bring the Master back, they're going to bring him back, but we're not going to know it's the Master until probably some kind of reveal later on in the series, and it's going to be like, oh my goodness, it's the Master. So
that'd be a cool reveal too. That would be they could do that really well.
No, you know what would be neat is they could have like the character come back and like they don't identify him as the Master, but the thing that you realize the big reveal is when he pulls out the tissue compression eliminator and shrinks someone down, blows them down to size.
Wait for that.
And you go, oh, that's who that is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that could be how you do it. You're right. I mean, Chris, that Moffat is going to put his whole thing on it, his whole spin on it. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, though.
Oh, no.
He's in charge of the show now, and, I mean, I've enjoyed the last 2 years. I think it's been a wild ride, so I don't have any problem with it.
Right. Great. Daniel, you're being very quiet, Daniel. I want you to get some comments in here.
Yeah, I would like that too. You know, that'd be cool. But I really want, you know, how they said that they could have like past doctors, like the Doctor regenerate into past forms. I'd like to see a past Doctor come back for like one more season. Like maybe
yes, Matt Smith will be there on the first episode, so. Yeah,
maybe like David Tennant would come back for a season. Maybe Matt Smith would come back for a season. Or maybe Sylvester McCoy can do it too. Or if you don't want to do that with the old Doctors, let's just say something like, let's say, I mean, the Doctor reprogrammed the TARDIS, upgrades it.
They're not going to run 2 Doctor Who's at the same time. They can't do that.
What?
They don't have the money for that, first of all, and it wouldn't make any sense. Why would you have a classic Doctor series running at the same time as a current one?
No.
Work that way.
What I'm saying is maybe he could regenerate into a past form for a season, and then maybe, like, you know, whatever.
They would never do that.
That won't happen.
It's all about moving forward with this show. That's why it's been around 50 years.
What if maybe he does some upgrade to the TARDIS where the TARDIS, like, you know, the computer takes the form of a past Doctor and gives the new Doctor, like, instruction.
Well, at the most, you might get a one-off with a former Doctor, but not a whole series.
You know what would be interesting, actually, if we had a Capaldi episode where somehow they were back in Perivale and we had Sophie Aldred come back playing Ace, like an older version of herself, and maybe you could fit in somehow maybe like a Sylvester McCoy sort of, you know, cameo, or not, who cares? I mean, you know, it'd be kind of neat. But they have to do it in a tangible way, though. That wouldn't
it has to make sense.
Yeah.
I'm all for Ace coming back. Absolutely.
You could do something like the 2 Doctors, where the Doctor's working, the classic Doctor's working for the Time Lords and happens to run into the current Doctor.
And that'd be cool. That would be cool seeing Ace, like seeing Capaldi and being like, Professor, you know, and she's, you know, has to get back into the hijinks with the Nitro 9 and all that. And you can see Capaldi, like, you know, being all serious, like, you know, what, are you going to blow it up? you know, and she's doing the thing with the Nitrodine, and you know.
I know exactly how they should bring Jenny back in the clutches of the Master as bait.
True. That's a good thing.
Would Capaldi give one? Would he care?
No, he'll go all Malcolm Tucker.
I want to see something like that where he just flips out. I can't wait. I really can't wait to see this guy in August, too.
That's why they need
2
to.
months away.
That's why they need to kill a companion, like they did, like a la Sarah Kingdom or Adric, and just have him really just freak out, like coming after.
I mean, the problem is it's Clara, and she's already been dead so many times that would be anticlimactic.
I know what they.
I don't mean her though. I mean somebody like down the line, like maybe in a couple of seasons, like it could be somebody that they just picked up, to travel with, and like wham, they just like get the rug pulled out from underneath.
You know what? Let me just say one thing.
What you just said, but he wouldn't even have to be Clara, like you said. But although Clara would be great for it, have a companion die and have it be the Daleks that kill her, because damn it, the Daleks need to kill someone again.
One thing that
but then
I'm sorry though.
When she dies because of the Daleks, have him do it actually spark the Time War.
The one thing nobody really talks about is that Clara was a Time Lord in Name of the Doctor because she was on Gallifrey.
That's right.
She was a Gallifreyan.
Not everyone on Gallifrey is a Time Lord.
True, but she could have been.
Yeah, but
I think that the whole thing's been pretty much overwritten, though. That's time being rewritten, though. That was just a thing that happened.
I don't know about rewritten, but...
Well, it happens all the time in this show now. I mean, things happen and you see them, but they don't necessarily mean that that's what happened anymore.
What if they... I'm sorry, go ahead, dude.
No, I was just going to say the whole Trinslor thing has been rewritten because he doesn't die on Trinslor anymore.
Because every time we've seen stuff, it was from the future. And because the future wasn't written yet, of course it could be changed. Just like the Dalek invasion of Earth. Because things change, because he traveled so many different times that it never happens to that. It becomes an alternate reality or something.
Not to mention that he spent all that time erasing himself from history.
Just databanks, not actually.
Yeah, but I mean, in a lot of ways, because he got too big. That was the whole point of
the Cybermen.
Remember River shouting at him, "You're not who you are anymore. You're somebody that's feared all over the universe.
But
you're
the Cybermen, in Nightmare on Silver, the signal went out, and the Cybermen had let everybody know that, because they had talked with him, and they let everybody know who the Doctor was. So that's why everybody knew who he was in the Trinslor. And that's why another reason why they were pissed off and they wanted to come after him too.
What if we had the new Master grab somebody like Susan and, as a way to kind of maybe write her back in to kind of tie up some of the storyline with her and explain a little bit more of her background? Because
he could be Charles Dance, and he could make it like he's a future incarnation.
Well, because Capaldi's more of like William Hartnell's age, and you would have a little bit more of that grandfatherly sort of thing between he and Susan, even though Susan's, of course, older than we saw her last.
She's like 75. I don't think she's going to come back to work in Cardiff for those long hours. I mean,
well, they could provide a wheelchair. That's fine.
No, but I mean, you get my point. This show is all about moving forward. That's how it has been. They're not going to be bringing back old companions just to make fans at home go, "Oh yay!"
But they did that in Sarah Jane Adventures.
Well, of course they did, because everybody loved Sarah Jane. I mean, that was a big
Joe
deal.
Grant, though.
Well, if that's the case,
Jane would still be on right now if Elizabeth Sladen hadn't left us.
Well, if that's the case, where the hell is Nicola Bryant? Because I want my Perry back.
Mm-hmm.
You have a better chance having Tegan come back, honestly, than anybody else.
I doubt it.
I think it will. I'm actually pretty sure that it may happen.
Always looking forward now, and like they said, they're going in an entirely new direction this season.
It's the Doctor who's looking forward as Matt Smith, but as the 11th Doctor, this Doctor may look backwards.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. There are going to be some themes that look like they're going to be apparently. I mean, because they're going to be doing that whole Coal Hill School thing, and they're going to have maybe 3 in the TARDIS at once, or 4 in the TARDIS at once, with like 2 teachers and a student. But I think that's just like a throwback.
I'm gonna make a prediction.
They're not gonna be bringing back in. They're not gonna be getting Janet Fielding in to do cameos or whatnot.
I'm gonna make a prediction, Tim.
What's that?
That Ian Chesterton appears in the finale of Series 8 of Doctor.
In what capacity?
Go you, but
as,
why?
as the Chester.
As
Because
the what?
Because they're in Colville, so it's only a matter of time that he'll bump it.
If they do have the school, then yeah, why not have him on there as like some kind of
He'll just appear at the end. He's like, "Oh, you're taking more teachers, huh?" So just like, let's say something like, or maybe have tea with Capaldi. I don't know.
You could have him look at the police box and kind of like give a quizzical look, like that's familiar.
I predict the Injustice will be in the finale of Series 8. I predict that we may have a new companion introduced for next year, this year.
Isn't Danny Pink supposed to be a new companion or something?
I don't think they're gonna last.
Not really a companion. He's just like gonna be on a couple adventures.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna last. But I think if
Rory was recurring at first, he ended up being like a regular. So
isn't a chance that Foxes could become companion, even though she's just in one episode? I mean,
no,
you don't think so?
I don't think so. I don't even know who that person is. It was just like another useless Doctor Who TV UK article.
Yep.
Like, oh, by the way, this pop star is going to appear in Doctor Who. She'll probably gonna be like in there for 30 seconds singing whatever current hit she has, and that's going to be that.
I do want to end the show now and then jump to the Everything show because we have a few special announcements we have to make.
Okay.
We have to talk about some Star Wars stuff too because.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
All right. And Star Trek because I have to talk about. I saw Star Trek Continues, the first episode, and I loved it. So I'm going to talk about that too. All right. So join us for the Everything show next.
All right.
Take care. Bye for now.
Okay.